Hi, okay, so in this particular video, let's try to analyze the circuit that we were thinking uh, that we looked at briefly in the previous video. Okay, now we have three inputs here, right? We have A and X and Y, which are the states, which could take any value, can also be considered to be input because we don't know what X and Y is going to be uh, as you start working with your circuit. So what we'll do is we will look at these states, and what we'll do is we'll fill up these states in the truth table that I have here. So let's just put all possible combinations of X, Y, and A. So you can have 0, 0, 0. You can have 0, 0, 1. I'm just writing it in order so that we don't miss any input. 0, 1, 1. We have 1, 0, 0. We have 1, 0, 1, 1, 1, 0, and lastly we have 1, 1, 1. Okay, so these are the three possible combinations. Now if we are in state x, let's say, and x is 0, y is 0, and a is also 0, what is the output dx going to be? So this point is what we are calling dx, and this d input, which belongs to the flip-flop which is setting the state y, we are calling dy, right? So what is dx going to be? So x is 0 and y is also 0, so the output of this OR gate is going to be 0, and 0 uh, NAND, and this is also 0, a is also 0 at this point, right? 0, 0 and is 0, and you put a not because it's a NAND, so this becomes 1. So dx is going to be equal to 1 here. Now similarly you can calculate dy. Dy is what? X bar. X bar is 1 and a is 0, so OR of both that is 1, so dy is 1. Okay, now if dx and dy are 1 1, what is going to be the next state? Now this is a D flip-flop, remember. If you have a 1 here, when the next clock edge comes, q is the output is going to become equal to the input, right? So x bar and y bar are also 1 and 1 in this case, isn't it? And lastly, what is going to be b? Now b is equal to y bar. Y bar is 1 and a is 0, so it's an exclusive OR of 0 and 1, which is again 1, so our b is 1. Okay, now similarly you can look up dx and dy when your states are 0 0, so you're on the same state but your input has changed, your input is 1. So in that case, what would you have? What you get is, what's your dx going to be? So your state is 0, this is 0, and y is also 0, so you get a 0 here, 0, and your output a is 1, so and of that is 0, so you still have dx equal to 1. And what is your dy going to be? Your dy is going to be, this is going to be 1 or with 1, so you have a 1 here again, so your next state is still going to be 1 1, and your output is going to be 1 here and 1 from here, so 1 exclusive or 1 is 0, so your output is going to be 0. Okay, and now similarly you can go to the next step, and you can say, well, now your state has changed, hasn't it? So let's think about this for a moment. So what we are saying is that if you start with a state of 0 0, regardless of the input, your input can be 0 or it can be 1, you will go to a state called 1 1, and the output when you are at state 0 0 is going to be 1 or 0, depending on whether a is 0 or 1. Is that all right? Okay, Even if this doesn't make sense, let's just follow through this truth table, and in the next video we'll make a state chart, and hopefully that would clarify things quite a bit. Okay, let's continue then. So uh, so let's do one more example, and then what I'll do is I'll just fill up the table and I'll let you work out and see whether the outputs are coming as I've done. Okay, so let's say x is 0, y is 1 here, and a is 0. So if x is 0, so you get 0 here, y is 1, right? So 0, 1, you get a 1 here, 1 and a is 0, so you get 0, and because this is an AND, so you get a 1 here. So you get dx equal to 1, and what about dy? dy is x bar is going to take what value? X is 0, so x bar is going to take the value 0, and a is also 0, so here we are going to get 0. Okay, and that seems to be all right according to my. Okay, I've got it slightly different on my notebooks. I'm just going to check this again. So let's take a look at this. So what is x? X is equal to 0, so this is going to be 1. And what is a? A is 0, so that's right. So this is going to be equal to 1, right? And what is the next state then going to be? This is going to be 1 and 0. And what is the output going to be? This is going to be 0. This is also 0. So exclusive OR. So this also becomes 0. So you get a 0 here. Okay. And similarly, you can fill up this truth table. And I'm just going to do that. And give me a moment, and I'm going to fill up this table for you. And then we'll finish the video, and I'll let you verify all the values in this truth table. Okay, I'm not really sure what I was thinking, but dy is going to be 1 here, right? Because if x is 0, this is going to be 1. 1 and 0 make 1. I don't know what I was thinking. I don't know what I said. Okay, so this is going to be 1, 1. And b is, because y is 1, this is all right. Okay, and maybe instead of filling up the table on the video, I will let you uh, uh, I will let you work this out, and I'll put a solution below this video which you can check out and see whether you got your table right or not.